So for the last year, I've actually been using the Action 4s as my go-to action camera. I use them for this kind of stuff. I use them for POV setups a lot. This is now even better. It is a 1/1.3 inch sensor, better quality. You have 4K 60 with full HDR. Yeah, check this out because it's just great. Alright guys, so this is it. This is the new DJI Action 5 Pro. I'm Dan Watson. If you guys are new here, I like to do awesome things with cameras, so lots of info, tests, reviews, and all kinds of gear. And cars as well, definitely a whole lot of cars. So appreciate the sub, turn on notifications. You can hit me up over on IG as well. I will also be comparing this to the new GoPro 13. Just got that in today, so stay tuned for that. And let me know in the comments if it's something specific that you want to see tested between this and the GoPro 13. And just in general, your thoughts on the Action 5 Pro already. I was actually pretty surprised with a few of these upgrades. And the first upgrade that I really didn't expect is the new sensor, because last year it already got a massive sensor upgrade. So this is now a new 40 megapixel this time, 1/1.3 inch sensor. For perspective, this is going to be a much larger sensor than what's in like the GoPros. And it's also the same size sensor as the Action 4, but now it's been upgraded from 10 megapixels to 40, which is pretty massive. So a larger sensor is going to usually mean amazing dynamic range. It's going to mean better low light performance. When I first tested the Action 4 last year, it was significantly better than anything else that GoPro especially was doing in low light. And now that the Action 5 Pro is here, it is even better. So in 4K, you get up to 120 frames per second. In 1080p, it goes to 240. I tend to shoot at 4K 60 a lot. It's like my preferred frame rate for like action stuff. And then now you get full HDR, so high dynamic range up to 4K 60. So I want you to look at this shot more carefully because this was the most impressive thing for me. I am literally driving in a pitch black cart. It is 100 degrees outside. It is full Florida, bright sunny day, and you can see everything. I can see the sky perfectly. I can still have detail inside of the cart, and that never happens. And this is in full auto exposure. Like I couldn't get this dynamic range from any of my full frame cameras, no matter what I was doing. And to get this from an action camera with HDR is absolutely stunning for me. The lens too is going to be another reason I've been using DJI Action cameras for a long time. This is a 155 degree field of view, so super wide natively. You don't need to do any mods. You don't need to buy anything in order to get that. It's just that wide. And really what this means is that when you start adding things like stabilization, which is on for most of my shots, you still get this amazing immersive shot. It's still plenty wide. And because you're not using all of these modifiers, you just have a wide angle lens, you're also getting way less distortion. And so you really get a nice looking shot. I personally just don't like the fisheye look. I like to be as wide as possible without distortion, and this is going to be as good as it gets. Although if you do like that look, you can turn off all of the distortion corrections and turn off stabilization and get all of that fisheye glory if that's your thing. Now, obviously that intro would have sucked without a really awesome music track. Now, I found that on Soundstripe using their new AI search powered by ChatGPT, and I'm not kidding, I found that song in under a minute. And that's not even the craziest part. So let me show you how this works. So first of all, Soundstripe is known for their music licensing, but they also have sound effects included in the creator package. And then you can upgrade to add video licensing and a tool for integrating Soundstripe straight into Adobe Premiere. So you just never have to leave your project. But AI search is insane. So you can literally type in whatever the style of edit is, whatever important details you have, and the AI search will break down a list of tracks that fits that exact mood. You can add it to a playlist, you can add it to your favorites, but here's what gets crazy. So let's say that song was great, but it holds that intro way too long and I need to get straight to the beat. Now there is a brand new feature that just came out that uses AI to analyze a track. It breaks it into sections and then you can just pull from each of these sections to basically design your own mix from that music. Now, how I've been using this personally in my YouTube videos is whenever there's a talking head portion, I usually want a more toned down section of that song. So I will literally create a mix using only the softest portions of the track and then create a second mix of only the big moments. And then I could just mix between these in post as I'm cutting from talking head to super action. They also give me a coupon code to pass on to you guys so you can get a discount when you sign up using the link below. So just go ahead and check that out. And big thanks to Soundstripe for sponsoring this video. Now the hardware actually gets a bunch of new upgrades, even though it looks the same. It's the same size as before, which for perspective makes it actually pretty significantly smaller than a GoPro in every dimension. Plus the back screen and the front screen got larger, and they're both OLED panels now. So pretty big upgrades all around, and you can actually see them outside in the daylight, which is a nice touch. And the signature feature for me has always been these magnetic clips to attach accessories. I love having these around. Once you use these, it's like impossible to go back to just using those kind of pull out fingers. I absolutely hate those. These are all like magnetic, so we can just put them up here, clip them in. That's as easy as it is to set up. Same thing down here. We'll get, I think, this way on this one. There we go. And we're ready to go. The only issue I have with these is there is no backup connection. So if you forget to throw one of these in your backpack or you lose these, you're screwed. There is no other way to mount the Action 5 Pros. Now my trick has always been to just buy a bunch of these and just keep them permanently attached to all of my mounts, but somehow I have still found a few times where I needed to clip this to something and I couldn't find any of these clips anywhere. So I wish I had like at least a quarter 20 or some kind of mount built in as a backup, or maybe even in the case as well. I love these cases because the case, when you're in this, you can actually attach these either to the bottom or to the side of the camera for vertically mounting. And that's pretty great because you can't actually do that with the GoPro fingers. Now we also get a lot of internal upgrades as well. So there is Wi-Fi 6 and you have 47 gigs of built-in storage, and you still have a micro SD. Actually, you can use up to a terabyte now in the micro SD storage. Now the battery also gets upgraded as well. So same battery, it's all backwards compatible, but now it has 200 milliamp hours more inside of a new battery. So now DJI claims you can get up to 4 hours of recording. I tested this at 4K 60, which is much higher than what they do, and I still got 2 hours of recording, which I don't think any of my other cameras can actually record for over 2 hours on 4K 60 on a single battery, or honestly even record that without overheating. Plus, if you get the adventure combo on this, you actually get this charging case right here, and it comes with 3 batteries, one USB-C in right here, and you can charge all 3 at the same time. And I beat these things up like crazy. So they got smashed, they got dirt, they got rocks, they got knocked around like crazy, and then I would just hose it off when I got home, throw it back in my bag, and then 2 days later I actually went from Florida to LA, put this back on a car, and then sandblasted it again. If anything gets smashed, you know, 19 bucks, you can get a new one of these filters and you're good to go again. So the Action 5 has 4 levels of stabilization, and I ran that entire opening sequence at level 1. That was literally the least amount of stabilization I could have possibly used without turning it completely off. And I had one camera was hooked to a completely busted magic arm, which you can see it in some of the clips. It is moving all around the top of the car, but the actual footage is incredibly stable. Like there are no micro jitters at all, even though I am off-roading, crazy speeds. I have a broken clamp. I am all over bumps. So this is absolutely crazy. Now, when you turn up stabilization on all Action cameras, it's actually cropping into the frame a bit so it can stabilize from a smaller portion of the sensor. So I do like to keep my stabilization turned down because you get that wider field of view, and then technically that's going to be the best quality overall. So it is really great when I can have all of this buttery smooth shots and it is still going to be this super wide at level 1. There are some pretty big features built into the camera as well. You have a bunch of different modes that you can pick from. So you have like a night mode, you have time-lapse options, whole lot of stuff. Plus you have the ability to create custom scenes, which makes it super easy from like going from a 4K 24 talking head style shot with zero distortion to like a wide angle 4K 60 action. You can just store these as settings in the camera. The camera is also waterproof to 65 feet without a case. And this is new. So there's an air pressure gauge that you can actually have it automatically start recording as soon as you enter water. So if you're like scuba diving or something, you're wearing gloves, you have a camera mounted somewhere where you can't see it, no worries. As soon as you hit the water, this is going to automatically start recording. But the one that I actually use the most personally is this has a built-in wireless receiver for the DJI Mic 2. Now these are going to be sold separately. If you don't already own them, you'll have to buy them. I'll link them below, but you should own these because they're absolutely amazing mics and they work independently of this. So you can use these. They're great. They have storage built into them, which is awesome as well. And then you can move this to wherever the audio source is. So if you're shooting cars and this is mounted on the roof, you can actually just set this up near the exhaust. And then now you have amazing audio coming from your camera. Or if you're doing something like vlogging, you can clip this onto yourself. Or DJI now makes a bunch of like cold shoe adapters. So if you're using the case, there's one that just magnetically clips on to the side, and then you can mount your cold shoe right into here, and now you have great audio coming from the camera. Or if you don't use the case, you can actually replace the entire battery door with this one, and then you have a cold shoe mount built into the side as well. So this is pretty cool. Plus there is time code built into this as well. So now there are like legit possibilities for using this in tandem with other cameras for like real production type stuff. Now I do live in Florida. It was like 100 degrees with the heat index when I shot that intro sequence. I have never overheated these cameras at all. I never had a warning, never had a pop-up, anything like that. I will be doing a overheating test as a part of like the GoPro 13 comparison that's coming up, so stay tuned for that. But I have shot with these side by side before, and every time I get at least 20% more life from the DJI Actions in the heat. So if you happen to live somewhere just stupid crazy hot like me, these are going to be really, really good for you. Now, if you are planning on picking these up, they are $350, or you can get the Adventure Combo, which includes the 3 batteries and the charger, for $100 more. I do wish it included the filter set with that, because I think these are kind of, you kind of need to have these. So it'd be great if they kind of bundled that in and included some discount with that, but you have to buy these separately. I will include links to this and all of my mounts, including like my POV setup and everything like that, filters, SD cards, everything you need to know. But let me know your thoughts so far on the Action 5 Pro. It's pretty amazing for everything I've tested it for, and a whole lot more is actually coming up with this. Plus all of the BTS and everything like that is going to be live on my Instagram. Hope you guys are doing amazing. A whole lot of stuff coming up soon, so appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.